talk about a big question that couples face, where the relationship is not going really well. And you have to make a decision. Should I stay in the relationship and continue to be unhappy? Or do I go where I am happy, but I also face the possibility that my kids will become messed up, that they will not be able to deal with the situation of their mom and their dad being apart, breaking up that family unit? It's a very important question, one that is considered a whole lot when it comes on to breaking up a family unit. That's one of the most important questions. What about the kids? How is it going to affect them? Are they going to be able to function in school? What about them losing their friends if one parent moves away? What about their sleeping arrangements? Are they going to be with the mom Monday through Friday, then stay with the dad on the weekends? Who's going to pick them up from school? Who's going to drop them off to school? Because this responsibility was shared by both parents. Now, if the unit is split up, what's going to happen? Who's going to do what? Especially if you work and you have a very busy schedule where you have everything kind of set up so nicely right now that everything works. But when the unit is divided, what happens? Every child is different and things affect your kids differently. So a lot of times in relationships, you know your kids. You know what their triggers are. You know if they like one parent better than the other. Yeah, it happens. It's a big transition. It's a big question. It's a big debate. Another question that comes up is, okay, in 2 years, the kids are going to graduate high school, so they'll be off to college. So do you stay in the relationship until the kids go off to college? Or is your current situation so unbearable right now that you just have to make a decision right now? What has been happening a lot of times is kids go off to college, and suddenly those kids are hearing that their parents are going to get a divorce. To the kid, it's shocking because they had no idea that mommy and daddy were having issues, especially if they hit it really good. There are other kids who may know that mommy and daddy are not in good terms all the time, but at least they kind of work it out and come back together. But either way, the kids going off to college is usually one of those times when parents actually separate. Because what used to happen is that you had that kid in the house, so that kid kind of became like the middle person. Not a mediator per se to say that they're jumping in between you and your partner, but at least you had a kid so you could divert your attention to the kid and not pay attention to your partner who's causing you mental anguish. What you would do is just focus on you and your child. So if they have homework, you're helping them with homework. If they have a soccer game, you're going to soccer practice. On the weekends, they may want to hang out with friends, so you're taking them to the mall. Pretty much what happened is you've diverted your attention from spending time with your partner to now spending time with the kid. And when the kid is grown up and now is off to college, then there is no more togetherness between you and your partner. So what happens? The decision is made. We cannot live together anymore. We have nothing more in common. This is just not working. It's time. We got to do this. And if the decision is made together as a couple that, hey, it's not working, then that's good because the decision was made together. And that means that the separation will be amicable. But what if One partner wants to hold on while the other partner wants to go. Now, the question of finance comes into play. Can you guys really make it on your own? Remember, for years, you guys have been working together, paying the bills together, doing things together. So everything kind of became one. And now you have to separate your incomes. So what happens? Does one partner make a lot of money while the other one doesn't make as much? Or does one partner bring in all the money while the other doesn't work? And if so, how do you split this up? Who takes care of who? Another thing is, you both have a beautiful home. And so, nobody wants to give up that house. Nobody wants to move out. How do you work this out? So, the scenario is, do you just say, my peace of mind is better, so it's better for me to give up the house and move out? Or, I've put in too much time and too much work in this house to leave it? No, not gonna happen. So these are all questions that are weighed when it comes on to staying together, even though things are not great, or separating because it's just not worth it. Now, the other scenario is if you have multiple houses, then that's a little easier because at least each partner knows that they have a house that they can go to. The question now, or the struggle now becomes, who gets what? Who invested more in what? Who believes that they have more rights over this than the other person? So now it becomes a fight. In these situations, I think your peace of mind is more important than anything else. So if you guys have houses and assets and all that stuff, guess what? One person is going to win a little bit more than the other because it's not equal. Unless you guys decide to sell all your assets and split it down the middle, that is the only way it's going to be even. So I would say if you guys really decide to, then just figure out a way to agree to disagree. You have two houses, okay, one gets one gets the other. You have 3 kids. Figure out, one person gets all 3 kids for a period of time for the week, while the other person gets them for the other period of time. Get the kids involved, especially if they're of age, because you may have kids who favor one parent over the other. I would rather to live with mommy. I would rather to live with daddy. And if that's the case, give your kid the preference to do that because that's going to make them more happier. And don't hold a grudge against your kid because they may choose one parent over the other. That's not fair to them. You guys are the ones breaking apart their happy home. And at the end of the day, your intention should be to want the best for your kid. Now, if your partner is not the best parent, and for that reason you're thinking, even though they rather that parent, they shouldn't go live with that parent, then yes, that's a very valid point. You know what's best for your child. So of course, you're going to want to have that child to live with you so that you can look after their best interest. And if you have to go to court to prove your point, to fight for your kid, then that's what you're going to have to do because you know what is best for your child. In that moment, your child may not like you. Okay? They may not want to be around you, but it doesn't matter because guess what? When they get older, they're going to realize that it was for their own good. You were just looking out for them. They're young. They don't really know everything that goes on. Actually, They don't know much about what goes on in your relationship because they may just see bits and pieces of possible fighting or arguments or whatever, but you're not sharing stuff with your kids, so they really don't know the details of it. So they're going to make their decision based on just what they want and not what's best for them. So again, in that case, if you think that they're choosing the wrong parent for whatever reason, fight for your child. Because at the end of the day, that's what's important, what's in their best interest. Now, the other thing I would say is never keep your child away from their parent. So if you get custody for whatever reason, don't hold that child or don't keep that child away from your partner. Let your child continue having that relationship with your partner because they were an important influence in their lives. If they're not abusing that child, if they're not doing things to hurt that child, then yes, do not keep that child from their parent. It's their parent. They have a right to know and continue that relationship with them. Your job is to guide them and protect them and look out for them. So having both parents in the child's life is very important. If your child is a boy, a relationship with his father is very important. A father can teach a boy how to become a man, what he should be doing, how he should carry himself, the things he needs to achieve to become a man, to be able to provide for his family, how to be masculine. And if it's a girl, she needs to have that relationship and bond with her mom so that she can learn how to become a woman, how to carry herself, how to take care of herself, how not to get used by others and to be spun around. These are all important qualities of becoming a young woman, becoming a young man. And these are things that are usually learned from parents. A role model, someone around them that influences them in a positive way. So if your partner is that kind of person, do not keep them away from your kid. It's very important. So making the decision to stay in the relationship because of your kids, or leaving the relationship because it's just too much and you can't take anymore, it's a very big question that couples face over and over. It's nothing new. From the days of creation, women have been having kids. Men being the protector and the caretaker and the provider. Relationships falling apart. Kids growing up. It happened in the past, it's happening now, and it's going to continue to happen. To make this decision, you have to do a lot of analyzing. Take into account how it's going to affect your kids. And if you know how it's going to affect your kids, find ways to help your kid throughout the situation. Next, if you have assets to be divided, figure out, if I want this and I want that, and my partner wants the same thing, am I willing to give it all up just for peace of mind? Next thing, you got to figure out your bills. When you become a couple, you guys are doing things together. You have a light bill, you have the water bill, you have the mortgage, you may have the rent, you may have the car note. You have to pay for the kids' tuition. Who is going to do what? Do you have enough money to take care of all these different things on your own? If you separate from your partner, do you have a plan as to how you're going to have the funds to take care of these things. These are all things you have to consider before making that big decision. How are you going to take care of yourself? And all these things I'm saying is based on you separating from your partner because the relationship is just not working, not because there's somebody else out there waiting for you. That's cheating. That should not have happened in the first place. So I am talking about separating for real reasons that has nothing to do with another man or another woman out there. Because if you're separating for that reason, what's going to happen? You're just going to run from this relationship right into that other relationship. So you already have things waiting for you. Whoever you're running to may already have a house, a car, their own kids. So all you're doing now is just fitting in. So for you, that's an easy transition. That's no problem. You can easily run away and say bye. See ya. It's not a problem. What I'm talking about is a relationship where two people are committed to each other. They build a life together, but for whatever reason, the relationship is now no longer working and they're at a crossroad where they have to make a decision. Should I stay or should I go? And if I stay, can I continue to live with this? Can I continue to put up with this? Or if I go, what will my new life be? Can I manage on my own? How is it going to affect the kids? These are things that are to be considered. I know it's not an easy decision, but if you think about all these things, all these points that I touched on, it will put you in a better situation to make the decision that's right for you and your family. I wish every relationship could just stay together, that couples would just stay in love and continue to work together and build. But unfortunately, things happen, relationships fail, and in that failure, you just have to be prepared and plan ahead. Listen, even though your kids may be affected by what is going on with you and your partner, it will not be forever. And if the kids are young, they won't really know what's going on. And they're going to grow up seeing their mom in one house living a separate life and their dad in another house living a separate life. So that's what they're going to grow up to see. And if the kids are older, then they're going to be smarter and understand that mommy and daddy were not really getting along together. And sometimes the kids are smart enough to know that it's better that they separate because they themselves have seen what's going on and figure out on their own that it's best for them to be apart. So a lot of times you as a parent may be afraid and wondering, how is this going to affect my child? How are they going to accept this, that we're not going to be a family unit together? Not realizing that the kids already know, they've seen it, and are on board for the separation. So analyze your relationship, analyze your life. I can't make that decision for you. You have to make that decision for yourself and make it at the right time. Once we have life, guys, life goes on. You have to live it some way or the other. And just remember, it's going to be okay. You're going to survive. It's not the end of the world. People have done it and they came through okay on the other side. People are going through the same thing you're going through right now and considering their options. And in the future, people are going to be going through the same thing. It's just the cycle of life. Everybody has their own turn, and now you're going through it. So ride the wave. You're going to be okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Leave me a comment, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.